In this video,
And the left hook lands and Ferguson goes down.
we look back at some of the most brutal knockouts in boxing history.
Down from the uppercut.
Let's get straight to it. In his title challenge against Riddick, Jesse Ferguson had said before the fight that he didn't want to be paid if he didn't get through the first round.
Setting up, and a good left hook by Riddick Bowe.
It took everything he had to get through that round.
Probably not a good place to be. And the left hook lands and Ferguson goes down. Will he make it out of round one? Michael Dokes didn't. Hazard counting. 8 count. Ferguson struggling to get up, and he makes it.
How you feel, Jesse?
Okay, he earned his money. He can keep his money.
The bell saved him. They don't have to stool up in the ring.
Riddick showcased his incredible ability to shorten his punches up inside with a beautiful short hook which destroyed Ferguson.
Didn't know that.
That sharp left hook, after he had driven him into the ropes with some hard punching, he landed this left to the body and then a left hook.
It's really impressive for a 6'5" tall heavyweight to be able to throw such a short left hook inside like that.
And again, Riddick Bowe hit Jesse Ferguson when he was on the canvas.
Punch stat numbers say that Riddick Bowe landed 2/3 of his blows in round one. And this is going to go pretty quickly now.
Riddick absolutely savaged Ferguson with a fearsome 8-punch combination.
A spectacular performance by Riddick Bowe.
But Riddick Bowe raised himself another level, in my opinion. He really looked spectacular. Putting those punches together, very accurate, very hard. He showed me an awful lot in this fight, despite the fact that it didn't go very long.
I'll be testing his uppercut, and I will be testing mine. As you can tell, I threw it a lot of times. That left hook was lethal. You know, I've been working with that, you know, in the gym and what have you. Jesse is a rough fella. He's never been acting like this before.
At this point, most people consider Riddick to be the best heavyweight in the world and probably the best heavyweight of all time.
This is the end, Riddick. Describe it to us.
2 words. Oops, there it is. You know what I'm saying? Well, 3 words. Irene, you know I'm a bad, bad man.
Pintor. Wilfredo Bazooka Gomez.
When Mexican legend Lupe Pintor took on Puerto Rican legend Wilfredo Gomez, the fight was pretty even up until the 14th round. Pintor was a great Mexican fighter, but I just don't think he could handle the power. Pintor is obviously making a mistake here by hanging out on the ropes. The finishing combination is beautiful. Notice the smooth combination by Gomez. The first left hook to the body here is what really hurt Pintor, in my opinion. I thought the body shot was brutal. Gomez was known as a dynamite puncher, but I thought he also had great skills. In his prime, he was the best 122-pounder of all time, in my opinion. To this day, I rate Gomez as the biggest puncher ever in the 122-pound division. Yes, Japanese fans, I think he's a bigger puncher than Inoue.
Oh, what a left hook. A 1-2 by Mike Weaver. Took the starch out of Holmes.
The fight between Larry Holmes and Mike Weaver was one of the best heavyweight bouts of all time. Holmes gets hurt in the 11th round, but he was always dangerous while hurt.
In his corner so he can sit down. Weaver is down from the uppercut. Weaver is down from the uppercut. He has to get up. Weaver is out. Good. He may not make it. 7. 8. He got up. Made it. He got up. He took the shot and the bell rang.
The uppercut was vicious. I don't know how Weaver got up.
Wobbling across the ring. He just made it. They're working frantically on Mike Weaver. Here it is now. The corner right now. A dead tired Ernie Holmes is back to his own corner. There it is. A right uppercut. A right uppercut was the punch that did it.
What I love about this fight is the shifts in momentum.
Weaver never saw the punch.
Holmes showed he was a true warrior in this fight. Weaver never recovered from the uppercut.
Weaver's a sitting duck on those ropes. That's all. That's all.
Notice Holmes' voice in the post-fight interview.
He hit me with a good right hand on the left side, and he knocked my eardrum a little bit.
He always said he had the flu coming into this fight, and he would have canceled the fight if he knew how tough Weaver was.
First round, much kinder to Vitaly Klitschko against Corey Sanders than was the case last year for an younger brother. Hard left hand, staggers Vitaly. Vitaly Klitschko staggered by Sanders' left. Vitaly trying to hold on as Sanders tries to follow up. 10 seconds to go in the round.
Sanders sets a trap for Vitaly here. He backs away to the ropes and noticed that he was moving at a slow and steady pace, trying to make Vitaly feel like he had a good read on Sanders' speed. Sanders knows the right hand is coming and he slips the punch to the outside, which is generally what you should always do, because if you slip to the inside, you are moving closer to Vitaly's left hand. Sanders then comes up with the left hand, which he throws at a blistering speed. Vitaly was shocked by the punch and never realized he was being set up. I think most fighters would have gone down from that punch.
Corey Sanders is having to walk through a lot of stuff here to try to get close to throw something. And he misses wildly with another big left. And now these lefts are not straight lefts, but roundhouses. And just as I say that, he lands a thudding straight left.
But this was an old Sanders who was out of shape. Sanders in his prime was a nimble moving counterpuncher on the back foot. Against Vitaly here, he was 10 pounds fatter than the year before.
Now he throws the right. For the first time in the fight, it seems Sanders has thrown a couple of meaningful right hands.
And they're trading big time again. Just when I said the action had slowed, now they're trading power shots. Vitaly landed a right, Sanders landed another left.
Heavy-footed and fought like a face-first brawler. Notice he's just coming forward with a high guard and getting pummeled.
Show of courage by Corey Sanders as he takes shot after shot with blood streaming down his face.
Just a brawl. A heavyweight brawl.
Good, quick left hook by Vitaly. Sanders can't get off the punch. Sanders flailing like...
That, folks, once again, was heavyweight boxing.
Vitaly was just too good for Sanders on this night.
So far in his career, Vitaly Klitschko has fought 13 time capsule rounds of heavyweight boxing in Staples Center here in Los Angeles.
Alfredo Angulo was named El Perro. In English, that means the dog. And when you see him in action, it's like he's chasing a mailman or something. And was definitely more of a chase the opponent kind of guy.
Amazing that Yorgi didn't go down. He seemed scorched by the first right hand.
But let's give credit where it's due. Harry is a total warrior. He's apparently never heard of the word clinch. Instead, he's all about that let's keep this brawl going approach. It might not be the smartest strategy, but hey, he's sticking with it. Like a toddler with a new toy.
There is no standing 8 count in the state of Connecticut. Body shot. Vicious.
Here we see the right hand landing perfectly on the chin, and he had no place to go. His back was to the ropes. He wasn't in a position to duck the punch, out of roll a punch, and he doesn't have the experience.
In the replay, you can see Harry doing his best impression of a deer caught in headlights. He actually closes his eyes to brace for the punch. I usually recommend moving your forehead towards the punch, supposedly the hardest part of your skull. But Harry, he's all about the surprise party method. Just close your eyes and hope for the best. Harry's also not exactly winning any awards for head movement. El Perro is coming straight at him like a freight train on a collision course.
Talk about fighting fire with fire. Yorgi just doesn't want to give in.
When Angulo starts swinging, it's like trying to dodge a hurricane with a beach umbrella.
Now, this is the kind of situation in which a fighter can be badly hurt. His hands are down. He is being hit by solid shots, and he is out cold now after the left and right combination.
Harry got flattened by a left hook and then took an extra right for good measure. He ended up looking like a fallen statue, spread-eagled on the canvas. I'm not sure if Superman could have flown in and saved him in time. What a brutally effective punch. El Perro really was a monster in the ring, like a tornado wrapped in a boxing glove.
Guys don't recuperate that quick, and I hope they had them take a long rest. Forget about the 90-day, 120-day suspension. He should not be allowed to be in the ring training, not just for action fights, for at least about 3 or 4 months.
You can sympathize with referee John Callis for the decisions he made solely because Yorgi was throwing punches and fighting back the whole way. Nevertheless, sided in favor.
Be a matter of time.
Well, Calzaghe knows he can hurt him, so now he's thrown everything.
Oh, he's got him again with the right hand. It's the second count of the round.
I thought Joe was just a brilliant swarming fighter. He often slapped with his punches, but he also mixed in some good solid shots, and the opponent here just walked into a hook.
No more. It's a first round win on his debut for Joe Calzaghe from Newbridge in Gwent. The Welsh fans like this. They like the look of this 21-year-old who was an ABA champion at welterweight, light middleweight and middleweight. And
Joe's high work rate was just too tough for most guys to deal with.
He knew when he got his man going, he threw everything.
Rocky Graziano never needed a second invitation to throw leather at his opponent. He comes after Tony here with a relentless attack. Graziano comes for a war, but Tony has no problem with that. Notice Tony's left hook is like a magnet to Rocky's chin. Rocky is too hurt to adjust, and Tony starts mixing in body shots to set up that left hook finish.
He's up. That's the count of 7.
We often complain about quick stoppages in the modern era, but nobody was ever complaining about a quick stoppage in this era. This is one of my favorite knockouts of all time. A truly terrifying knockout right there. I mean, that's just a frightening knockout.
See the knockout in slow motion in just a moment.
Notice the right hand to the body to set up the big left hook finish. Not once, but twice.
Slow motion. Zale hooking into the body to straighten Rocky up. Now watch Zale's favorite combination. A right to the body. Left hook to the jaw. And that's all.
Tony was one of the best body punchers I've ever seen. If boxing had a Body Puncher of the Year award, Tony would win it every time.
Before the fight, Zale said he'd win in 3 rounds, and he sure called the shot. It's a big upset, though, so far as the fans and the experts are concerned. No one thought Tony had a chance of beating the younger, stronger, and more powerful Graziano.
Winner and new middleweight champion of the world, Tony Zale.
A great comeback for Tony Zale. Once again, the middleweight champion of the world.
Have you ever wondered what would happen if a bare-knuckle fighter got in the ring with a professional boxer? Joey Savage was supposedly a winner of 42 bare-knuckle fights, and all of those fights came by knockout. Cooper spends the first few seconds of the fight having a look at Savage. Who is throwing very wild punches with extremely poor technique. I thought Savage appeared to be gaining confidence due to Cooper not throwing back. All of a sudden, Cooper gets Savage's attention with a right hand. Notice Cooper is using the cross-arm defense, which was made famous by the great Archie Moore. Savage thinks he's a hard man, but the truth is that he has no idea how to fight. Savage would reportedly say he thought the fight was stopped too soon. The body punching of Errol Spence was his trademark as he moved through the ranks.
Cordova trying to figure out a way to keep Spence off. There's that left hook to the body. That's what we were talking about, that body attack. And that one really hurt. You can see the grimace on Cordova's face. The count is 7. He can't recover. 9, he's not going to make it. 10 and out. Knockout. First round, Errol Spence Jr. with a terrific body punch.
The opponent would have been fine here if he just kept his elbow in close to the body, and it's surprising that he was leaving his body open on the inside like that, considering Spence's reputation.
Boom, caught him right under the elbow.
And when you land a shot like that, do you know they're going down and they're going to stay down?
I'm not for sure, but I know I got enough power that if I hit somebody clean, they can go down.
In his fight against Cuevas Jr., it was more of the same.
And that warning was from Pat Russell that Cuevas had better show up something or he's going to stop the fight.
Yeah, he better throw some punches, and there he goes, on his knee.
3, 4, 5.
I don't think he's going to make
6,
it.
7. He's got to make a decision here whether he wants to get up or not.
He doesn't want anymore. That's well, he made it by about a half a second, Rich. Saved by the bell.
Spence gets good power into his headshots, but keep a close lookout for the short right hook to the body. Cuevas showed a lot of heart, but very few fighters can recover from hard body shots like that. He's still hurt, and the fight was sensibly stopped between rounds.
He did it in his last fight here at Fantasy Springs. He's done it before. He told us today at our fighter meetings he likes to go to the body a lot and test his opponents to the body in the first round to see if he can affect them that way.
I think he more caught him off balance than he actually hurt him. But it was a good shot.
Velasco's going to have to fight right here, and down goes Canizales. As Velasco touches him with a left step.
Heavy favorite Orlando Canizales was shocked by Velasco as he got dropped heavily by a counter left hook.
All of a sudden, he puts him on the canvas.
And Velasco is now attacking. Do you believe the turnaround in this fight? As Velasco's all over Orlando Canizales.
And Canizales is still shaky. He is still feeling the effects.
As we have a real shocking 4th round in progress.
One thing about Canizales, he's got his own big left hook.
Favorite Orlando Canizales, who fights his way out of the corner.
And there's Orlando. He's hurt Velasco now.
Canizales showed a really good quality, fast recovery skills.
Another left and right. Velasco's in big trouble.
I think having fast recovery skills is far more important than having a great chin. It's all about how quickly you can recover after getting hurt.
Duel at high noon.
An unbelievable turn of events.
And Canizales is just banging Velasco around the ring now.
Velasco's ready to go.
Yeah, this could end pretty soon here. Fighter Bynum watching this very closely. Oh, there it is. That one really puts Velasco in trouble.
I don't know how he stayed on his feet from that one, Norm. I really don't.
Well, remember what we said. Tough cookie.
Very tough.
Another one. A bomb. Another bomb to the jaw, and that's it. That's it. That's it. Spider Bynum steps in and stops it.
Notice Canizales just comes off worse in the hook exchange. Velasco's right hand was low himself, but he was the one who came out best. But Canizales showed great heart. He was a total beast.
Punches, and really an accumulation of blows is what ended the fight, because he hit him with several good shots, and eventually Spider Bynum stepped in and said, that is enough.
I lowered my right hand, and he caught me with a good left hook, and I had to come on strong, and it was a tough round.
Definitely a true fighter in there. Matisse.
Paul Williams was known for having an insane work rate. Watching his fights, it almost always seems like he threw triple the amount of punches that his opponent threw.
You know, clearly Williams is not accomplished like Oscar, and Matisse, I think, had a little more respect going into this fight than Mayorga by boxing people had going into the De La Hoya fight.
Yeah.
I think the opponent just couldn't keep up with Williams' work rate.
Matisse now stumbles back in the corner, not throwing any punches, and Jack Reese says, that's enough.
A welterweight star is born. That is a star-making performance by Paul Williams.
And in the final round, he just capitulated.
So the 10th round, Jack Reese says, that's enough. And Paul Williams will move to 30-0.
I don't think I've ever seen a guy as big as Williams having such an insane work rate.
And Lennox, this is just through attrition here. He had been taking pounding all night.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Paul definitely hurt him throughout the fight.
In his prime, Joe Louis came out with the intention of bombing out his opponents quickly.
Word was out. This guy Louis is a killer. Stay away, stay away. Levinsky is scared to death. Never tossing an effective blow. The big Palooka's down and bounces back, paralyzed with fright.
Louis was a patient fighter, but the ferocity of his punches ended many fights early.
There he goes again. Pounded, clouded, hammered to the canvas.
The right hand was a potent weapon in this fight.
Levinsky's a battered soul who probably wishes he'd have stood in bed. For those who've seen the champ fight, this has been a harbinger of things to come. For Levinsky, they come none too soon.
I thought Louis showed compassion for his opponent by not destroying him when the free shots were there. Louis could very easily have gone for a highlight reel knockout there. David Sears, a light heavyweight contender in the 1980s, really took advantage of some poor refereeing in this fight.
Teamwork. You've got Lou Duba, Ace Murata. They work together with all of their fighters, and you can watch a championship corner in action.
Oh, got him!
Right hand, right hand.
David! Push off! David, you got him! That's it! That's it, David! That's it! You're not getting up! That's it, David!
They're letting them fight. They're letting them fight.
Push him off. Push him off.
Referee is very off.
That's it, Davey. That's it, buddy. Fucking Davey.
What a finish by Sears, in trouble with a cross, landing a right hand.
I know Sears landed a really sweet right hand which got Osby going, and he probably would have knocked Osby out sooner rather than later, but knockdown punch was thrown while the referee stepped in.
Now here it is. He held him. Now that is a hit right on the knockdown, right on the break by the referee. The referee was not as effective as he should have been. He should have been strong in separating, because that man was in terrible trouble just then, and the fight should not have continued.
The referee then allowed Osby to take some brutal punishment, and we saw Osby having no clue where he was at the end. Sears would go on to lose to Michael Spinks in a challenge for the undisputed crown at 175 pounds.
Was it necessary to keep the fight going and knock him out a second time?
Yeah, he looked out. I don't know why they let it go.
Highly skilled Pernell Whitaker probably shouldn't have even bothered taking this tune-up fight.
Being at 135 pounds, he's now 13 pounds heavier than that. He has a WBC welterweight championship ahead against Buddy McGirt in March. And this a testing fight, a testing few seconds against a guy who really should not have been in the ring with Pernell Whitaker. It just took one shot, and Pernell is even more disappointed than Benny Paez right now. One of the fastest, quickest fights in USA history. One punch, and that was it.
Whitaker was the former undisputed king at 135 pounds and had won a world title at 140 pounds. He was scheduled to fight for the 147-pound title and took this tune-up fight while he was waiting for the title fight. It was a complete mismatch, and I think the opponent was lucky he didn't get seriously hurt.
As a welterweight, but here it is, the straight left, and down goes Maramero Baez. I think his head did a Maramero a somersault. Another look, the right set up the overhand left. Once again, the straight left, bing, right on the button.
Sweet Pea would go on to win his title fight and become a 3-weight world champion.
Getting out here in the heat of the desert has certainly been one of those opportunities for him to continue to be in pretty good shape, considering the winter over in South Africa now.
Sanders had a fierce left hand. Most of his fights ended up early because of it.
Right hand, but he's
big right hand, big left hand. Excuse me, puts him down, and Stevens is in real trouble, falling into the ropes. And the referee, Jay Noddy, may officially end this one. Let's see if Stevens able to continue.
He was always one of my favorite fighters.
Similar to what you saw against Bert Cooper, it was the left hand, and here again is another left hand. As Stevens he's just defenseless, and they're going to stop the fight. So this one is over in round number 1. George Stevens, again, a big left hand, puts him down on the canvas. He gets up but is unable to continue, and they finally stop the fight here at the end of the action.
I think this was just a textbook 1-2 from Sanders.
He goes, and it would be all over as a helpless, and there's another look at the knockdown.
Really nice to watch.
Just glances off the chin, there's 10-11.
But I waited and caught him with the right punch.
This for the WBO Super Bantamweight Championship, let me remind you, at 8 stone, 10 pounds.
Known as Little Tyson, Juan Guzman showed some real class in this fight.
Guzman's just fitting the bill nicely in that division.
More heavy shots. He really is teeing off on poor old Oliver, who goes down for the body punch. It had to happen sooner or later. I don't know how he stayed up that long. He'll get a mandatory 8. Is he going to get up? No, he's not. He's had enough of it. And Juan Guzman becomes the WBO Super Bantamweight champion with an electric performance.
Guzman picked up his first title here, and that final left hook to the body was brutal.
Title, Juan Guzman, Little Tyson, as they call him, has arrived in the big league here.
Well, he walks like Tyson. He never let Oliva into the fight.
I thought Guzman was an extremely highly skilled technician.
Brain as well, look for the shots, and eventually the body punching took its toll.
But it stays in the Dominican Republic with this fella, Juan Guzman. Now that surprised me. There's the celebration from Guzman, which wasn't quite as good as his performance.
He's got to work on the acrobatics a little bit.
Good right hand by Canelo, up and under, and then a big right cross across the top. Gomez is badly hurt. Canelo's got a chance to finish, and the referee's going to stop it right away.
I thought this was a vicious barrage from Canelo.
All right, watch the uppercut land here. That starts the damage. Then the right cross, boom. Gomez is hurt, and you can see it. And now Canelo has a chance, but he hasn't quite finished him yet, in our view, at the moment when the referee steps in here.
The reason I didn't think it was a bad stoppage was because of Gomez's legs after the fight. Look at how he staggers here.
It's too quick.
Agreed. Canelo is the hometown guy, even if he's not from that hometown.
Antoine Eckler was one of the biggest punchers that I've seen. He was able to knock Antoine Eckler out in the 3rd round. Demetrius Jenkins, who's a big puncher, he knocked him out.
Ooh, here's a good right. Lee follows it up with some left hands, and he's got Cunningham hurt up against the ropes. He's teeing off, and that's it.
The right hook of Andy Lee was his signature punch, and it bailed him out of a lot of bad situations, but his straight left hand was also a nice shot when he landed it. Lee fights with a lot of poise, and I always found his overall technique just really nice to watch.
With a left hand, then once he had the guy hurt, head, body, head, he let loose. You can see the concentration. He kept his distance also. He didn't smother or crowd himself.
Let's take another look, but it was that right hand that started it all.
See, we tell young boxers all the time, throw behind a lead punch. He threw the right hook.
Beterbiev, another good test then. He's got to come past if he wants to fight for a world title, which I'm sure will be not too far away if he gets an impressive win tonight. But it's not a given.
Grew up in Chechnya. Oh my goodness me. Well, we wondered whether he was going to have the power to trouble a durable man.
At the time of making this video, Arthur Beterbiev is the reigning undisputed champion at 175 pounds. You just saw a good example of why.
Goodness me. Look at that. Terrific power again from Beterbiev. And I think it's all over. The referee has stepped in. He's giving the count, though. He's not stopped it yet. But I don't think he's going to get up. He can't get up, can he? 7. The count's at 7, 8. And it is all over. A first-round knockout for Artur.
A replay will show how Beterbiev set up that counter right hand perfectly. Notice Beterbiev moving laterally towards his opponent's right hand. The opponent is baited into throwing his right hand, but Beterbiev was waiting for him to start throwing it and knew he would get there first with his own right hand. He did a mixture of shortening up his shots and then lengthening up his shots in his finishing combination. Beterbiev takes his time. He never rushes himself. He's also devastating at every range.
Here's that jab again. Oh, big left to the body. Thumping punch. I thought Iliev was going to go down from that. Oh, and he's really shaken up. Another right. It's all over. He's done it in the first round. Great debut. Big night. Darren Sutherland. Maybe a star is born.
Sutherland landed some terrific body shots, which really hurt the opponent, and the chicken leg reaction to the right hand justifies the stoppage, in my view.
And you can see that's the body shot that actually made the big noise. It looked good, it sounded good, and at this point, the fight was all over. The referee did exactly the right thing. He was shipping punishment. The fight had been knocked out of him. He had nothing left to offer. Face badly banged up. He was just going to be picked off from this stage onwards. I mean, look how tired the legs look, and this is only in the opening round. Everything had been knocked out of him, leaving the referee no choice. Very impressive.
Couldn't have done it better, but it was, just to put it in perspective, against an opponent who has been stopped 4 times in his 6 contests. Of course, the tests get much harder, but Darren Sutherland could not have made a better debut than that.
Vargas was a fighter who always gave value for money. His body punching was always a good attribute, and I really like the accuracy of this punch. Vargas would go on to have a great career, and he is respected by all boxing fans for the showing of heart and grit in his fights.
The referee has stopped it here in round 2. The 20-year-old from Oxnard, California goes to 10-0. He records his 10th knockout, and Vargas finishes off Dan.
This fight was a pretty easy night for him, though, and he always outclassed guys who were not world-level fighters. Cannoli did seem to recover, but that 5-punch left-hook salvo was brutal, and his head was wobbling around from the punches at times. The thing I loved about Vargas was that he was such an offensive fighter.
More than he could land. And how about he gave himself angles, too, which most young fighters are probably not capable of doing. And there's an example of what you just talked about. Finding the angle where he could land the hook. Very impressive work by Fernando Vargas. And the referee steps in and stops it in round number 2 for the official time. Here's Mark Biro. Ladies and gentlemen, the time, 40 seconds of the second round.
The last fight of Ali's prime was against Zora Foley. Ali seemed to take the first 2 rounds off just so he could get a feel for Foley's speed and style. In the 3rd round, Foley had some success, but Ali soon took over the fight. The speed difference between the 2 fighters was insane, but that was how it was in every Ali fight when he was in his prime. Notice how Ali times the counter right hands perfectly.
And has plenty himself, there's no question about that. That's Foley down from that right hand. I don't know if he's going to make this one. 6, 7, 8.
The KO was brutal, extremely fast and accurate right hands.
I'm always confident I whip all of them.
You're being extremely truculent.
Whatever truculent mean, if that's good, I'm there.
He actually hurt Schlongway with a short left to the head a little while ago. And
now he seems to have Schlongway in trouble on the ropes there in the corner. But Schlongway shuffling back.
Corey Sanders' left hand was very lethal, and I really liked how he set it up with a double jab there.
Caught him with a short left hand to the head. And I think Schlongway is in a little bit of trouble. That was the best punch Sanders has thrown. It was a short left to the head.
Well, T. Sanders is moving in, unlike Shark Smith, and he's really got
one.
It's just target practice now, and I think the fight should be stopped at this point.
Holding on to the ropes.
6, 7, 8.
Doesn't seem steady on his legs at all.
Referee a little undecided whether to let it go on there.
When you're under attack like this, the last thing you should be doing is high guarding against the ropes. The opponent is just afraid to do anything other than cover up and has already mentally given up.
And
that's it. That's the end of the fight. Corey Sanders stunned him in the corner there, as we said, Leonard, and then moved right in twice for the kill. And it was good to see that killer instinct coming from this young boxer.
He actually caught him with a very good left hand. I'm surprised Schlongway was caught with that punch, the way he'd been protecting himself up to that point. But there ago, at that stage, he was rather dazed. Not surprising he went down.
Bone Crusher Smith has been given a boxing lesson by Tim Witherspoon in their first fight. But in their second fight, he jumped Witherspoon from the opening bell. I thought Bone Crusher hurt Tim with the first punch of the fight, and Tim never really recovered from that punch.
And put him in a little trouble early.
Witherspoon's covered up, and he's really giving him some good shots here.
But that shot really dazed Tim. In fact, Tim is just retreating now, not throwing back any punches.
It was the first punch of the fight. There was a big right hand, and Witherspoon is hanging on. And another hard right hand, and Witherspoon's in a whole bunch of trouble here.
I believe that should have been called a knockdown. He went down to one knee, and even though he got quickly up, that was a knockdown.
Bone Crusher was doing the right thing by staying on Tim.
Smith swarms over him. Another right hand. Witherspoon's down again. We may find out about that 3 knockdown rule.
And the 3 knockdown rule led to the fight being stopped in round 1.
Down he goes again, and now it's over. Rivera stops the fight.
The fight is over. A monumental upset.
And I believe Rivera stopped the fight based on a 3 knockdown rule, which was not in effect.
I'm speechless now. I didn't think that would happen.
Tremendous upset.
In later years, Witherspoon would say that he threw the fight, but I don't think so. He was caught several times with good shots and looked out of it for me.
It was a good move on Bone Crusher Smith's part. When it seemed as though Witherspoon had regrouped and got himself together, that left hook there, again, put him in serious trouble, and he goes through the ropes again.
A minute to go, a little less than a minute to go.
Well, Tim was never really into the fight. I mean, Bone Crush just wailed away, unanswered punches.
Well, you know, the criticism of Witherspoon has been not only his weight, but his conditioning for almost as long as I could remember, and tonight it caught up with him.
But I noticed it was the same punch that he knocked out Mike Weaver with.
When Michael Dokes was young and in his prime, his hands were some of the fastest hands I've ever seen in the heavyweight division. Dokes threw every punch in the book, from all angles, and his main attribute was the lightning hand speed he had.
Commissioner comes in, Dr. Lacey with about 1:10 to go in the 4th round.
This version of Dokes was a beast of a fighter, and I think most fighters would have serious problems with him.
Wanting to prove that he has what it takes. He wanted this as a test. I think you'll have to agree that he has what it takes at 6'3", 215 pounds. Quick hands, good combination puncher. And the native of Akron, Ohio, where in high school he was a linebacker.
The insane speed of his punches makes him extremely powerful.
Another
you see Gardner's wobbly now. Spaghetti legs. Another left hook. That one on the back of the head, almost a rabbit punch. A left hook. Another. And it won't be long, and there it is. Mouthpiece being knocked right from the jaw of the big heavyweight.
And that final left hook, which sent the mouthpiece flying from Gardner's mouth, was insane.
A minute and 10 seconds remaining in that fourth round, and the only knockdown of the scheduled 10-round bout came right there. And he hit the deck very, very hard.
You would need to have an absolutely insane chin to be able to take that punch and stay upright.
And of course, there is a happy man. He is only 22 years old.
I thought Jack Dempsey looked like a small child next to Jess Willard before this fight. It was like seeing a toddler trying to box up a grown-up. This fight was a very entertaining one. Dempsey came out with a lot of footwork, bobbing and weaving like he was doing the cha-cha. Up to this point, boxing hadn't seen the kind of ferocity Dempsey brought to the ring. He was like a tornado in boxing gloves. Jack's combination punching was lethal. He practically rearranged Jess's face with a left hook. Jess showed a lot of heart to get up, but after seeing Jack's left hook, you need a new face to go with it.
On the floor for the second time. The champion's days, groggy, but he's game. He's up again. The fist booming on him.
One thing you can't accuse Jack of is showing mercy in a fight.
Wounded animal crouching with his back half turned as he arrives. The more overwhelmed with hysterical burst of fury that sends him to the floor for the fourth time.
He pulverized Jess from pillar to post.
Fifth track. The instant Willard knees were up before Jack had him again. Jess is wide open. He has absolutely no defense. And he hits the deck again. Courage, just plain courage, instinct, whatever it is, blends him, blind and staggering up. Willard reels around the ring, powerless, with Dempsey bumping right and left into it. Clear across the opposite corner, and there he takes it again. How can the man stand it? There he falls, gloved hand, feeling for the rope, trying to hold himself up.
If boxing were a house renovation joke, Jack would be demolishing everything in sight.
But a right smashes into his side. Other rights crash to the head, and Willard collapses into a sitting position, dazed and helpless, after the most murderous beating a man ever took in the ring. And there's the bell.
The beating was so severe that Jack assumed the fight was over and left the ring. However, Jess, ever the optimist, wanted to keep going.
Helpless, but technically the fight is still on.
Jack delivered more punishment, and Jess didn't come out for the fourth round. We had a new heavyweight king. I think Jess thought being a physically big man would be enough to defeat Dempsey. Jack changed boxing with his performance. This was a new style of aggressiveness that boxers had to plan for. Think of it this way. If there was never a boxer with the aggressiveness of Dempsey, there would never have been a boxer with the cleverness of Gene Tunney.
He won that TKO too. And he just darted in and out.
Andre Ward showed his versatility as a fighter in this fight. Ward fights out of the conventional orthodox stance as his primary stance, but he can effortlessly switch to the unconventional southpaw stance. Notice he's in the southpaw stance here. The opponent now has to mentally switch up and start thinking about all the things that you have to think about when fighting a left-handed fighter rather than a right-handed fighter.
Methodical. Oh, he rocked him on that. He rocked him on that one.
You know what? This is the end of the fight.
Referee Lavelle said no more.
And you know, and is beating him as a right-hander. Then he goes the other way, and that really makes it unbelievably difficult for him here. Now he's trying to key on something else.
The chicken leg was enough to get the referee to step in, and that's usually the case when you see a guy chicken legging like that.
Think about throwing a right-hand lead against a lefty. He walks right into the trap. Ward set him up for that. He goes lefty, so now the other guy wants the right-hand lead, and as he starts to throw it, Ward gets out of the way and stops him. So that's great dexterity by Andre Ward, and the movement was more impressive than the punch that ended the fight.
And he caught Jeff Page with another left hook there a moment ago. And that's not something you want to do against Beterbiev, be pulling back with your hands down. And down goes Page once again. A hard shot from Beterbiev.
The ability of Beterbiev to throw concussive punches without needing to have his feet set to the ground causes all kinds of issues for the opponent in this fight.
Again, and that will be it.
Page's defense, he needed to keep his hands up a lot more. But from the first time he got hit, he did not know exactly where he was.
Notice how Beterbiev always stays well balanced and can leap onto shots on the move. He's devastating up close too, so there's literally nowhere to hide for the opponent. Beterbiev reigns supreme at 175 pounds at the time of making this video, and I'm not sure there are any 175-pounders in boxing history who would have beaten him.
Too many people would relish the thought of coming into New York to take on Buddy McGirt. He is an up-and-coming star in the junior welterweight division.
And Buddy McGirt is finding no trouble reaching with punches.
Nice combination. Good jab.
Every time he threw it, he's got him hurt.
Whiting is hurt. Good right and a look at McGirt. Work him over. It's all over.
He didn't offer a punch. He didn't throw a punch. That's the reason why Johnny Lobianco stopped the fight.
Buddy was an excellent boxer with a high ring IQ. Buddy liked to work behind the jab, and he kept landing his right hand here. Buddy had a good finishing instinct when the time was right. I think Buddy had a nasty right hand in general. It was short, sharp, and accurate.
Had to stop it. Had to stop it. Right move by Johnny Lobianco. No question about it. Buddy McGirt, with the chant of Buddy up in the crowd, has won it. He is now 20-0-1, 18 knockouts.
He doesn't have to get close to his opponent, Barry, to land good body shots.
Now he is working that jab, and it's not a huge jab. There's a right hand off the jab, and down he goes. And that should do it. That was picture perfect.
That was a one-punch knockout, Barry, and you will not find a better punch thrown than that.
I really like how Reed set up this right hand. Everything was thrown perfectly. The double jab was just a setup for the right hand and put out there to confuse Brown. I liked Brown as a fighter, but he was on the receiving end of a few brutal knockdowns like this.
Head on the deck.
All right, there you go. Now he steps back. Now he's on the jab. Now the right hand comes right behind it. There, bam, right on the chin. He folds up. He's going right now, and then his head hits double whammy. Good shot.
Reed was just a well-schooled fighter. He was an Olympic gold medalist.
Can't say any more about it than that. He threw it right from the shoulder, everything behind it. David Reed possesses one of the hardest right hands in all of boxing.
And Rick, on a knockdown like that, you shouldn't even count. You should wave it off and get the mouthpiece. There's no need to count on that. And he was out, of course, before he hit the deck. He was, and it had hit hard. That kid's in real trouble right now. They're going to working on him, but that was a hell of a shot.
Francis and Tony were fighting in a big domestic dust in the UK.
In the latter 3 or 4 rounds, he's brought it into play. Oh, beautiful shot from Dean Francis. Hogan goes down. 40 seconds left.
The replay will show us the poor technique of Tony, and the good fundamental technique of Francis is what led to that knockdown. Tony was on the verge of getting knocked out. Those uppercuts were brutal. Notice how Francis throws the textbook 1-2-3 combination with the left hook at the end. Tony comes in and he's throwing the same combination, but Francis just has a much tighter and shorter hook. Situations where fighters are trading hooks is very common. Neither guy has brought their right hand back to their chin in the exchange.
Difficult to recover from, and Dean Francis, one of the best finishers in the business. And that's exactly what he did tonight. Unbelievable performance from him at this stage in his career. Who thought he would find the drive, the ambition, and the strength? See, when a fighter's head's been rolling around from punches, the referee has to step in. Perfect stoppage from Richie Davis. Head been rolled around, wasn't coming back from that against a thunderous puncher like Francis. Good call.
Horn along with Robbie Sheffman at the Forum in Halifax. Round 4 scheduled to go 10. Donovan Razor Ruddock in the white shorts. Eddie Richardson.
I believe Razor had great physical tools. Size, speed, power, and coordination. His left hook was one of the best punches in boxing when he was in his prime.
Against Eddie Richardson, strong body work. He's digging well with the left hook to the ribs and to the kidneys, softening Richardson up.
Oh, there's a left hand. Left hand putting Richardson to the canvas. It was a short, sharp shot.
And that just showed you what we mentioned earlier, how it's easier to punch going up than it is going down, because he caught Richardson with the full force of that punch going right.
Richardson is in an awful lot of trouble now. You can see that he is.
He's got to hold on, Jim. He's got to tie up Ruddock.
Another big left hand, and down goes Richardson. There you see still lots of time left to go in this fourth round. Eddie Richardson taking full advantage of the count.
I don't know if Earl's going to let this one continue, Jim.
Richardson deserved credit for getting up. He was always a game fighter, but the left hooks are just too devastating.
Richardson has to hold on, Jim. He has to tie up Ruddock. He's just doing the wrong thing.
Another left hand puts Richardson down. That should end it, Robbie. 3 knockdowns in this fourth round, all coming via the left hand of Donovan Razor Ruddock. Almost anticlimactic. All right, let's take a look at the first knockdown.
Razor's left hook is just such a powerful and crisp punch. I think Razor was a genuine threat to anyone at this time.
An awful lot of trouble that he couldn't get out of.
That replay really gave you an opportunity to see the power that was in that punch with the legs and the entire body.
Oh, right hand over the top, left hook from Gennady. Triple G Golovkin, the superstar. Oh, he's gone down with it right there.
It's very rare for the consensus best fighter in a boxing division to be avoided. Usually fighters want to be number one, so they're gunning to take that spot.
Over the top of the right hand, short little overhand right, which I did say, but earlier he loves the overhand.
When it came to Triple G, very few people wanted any part of him when he was the best middleweight on the planet.
Down from that solid jab. Little pockets of his success. One punch here, one punch there. Down goes Adama for the second. Here's Dawes. It's a matter of time before Triple G finishes it off. He says that.
Now, this is how you throw a left hook with responsible defense. Notice Golovkin's right hand is stuck to his chin as he's throwing the punch.
6 inches, boom, on the button. Whoop, sets his man up. Here it comes. Oof, there's that left hook.
We even got to see a jab knockdown in this fight.
Round number 7 of this WBA and IBA championship. And a jab, and he goes down from a jab. And it's a knockdown. Brilliant stuff from Golovkin.
It's just extremely rare to see a fighter knock down his opponent with a jab. Triple G had a very powerful ramrod jab that was like a power punch.
Slipping all those punches from Adama, Tenson with the left hook.
The opponent gets a compassionate stoppage, really, and I thought that was fire. He had taken brutal punishment and it was only going to get worse.
Here, there is that left hook out on his feet. Ousmane Adama, there shouldn't be any arguments as to why the referee stepped in and stopped the fight. For at this stage, Adama.
James Kirkland was like a greyhound out of the gate as he launched himself at Alfredo Angulo, and he took a solid counterpunch for his troubles. I really thought Kirkland was going to get destroyed in this fight. His face-first style just seemed all wrong for the technically superior Angulo, who also liked to engage in firefights. Angulo was thought to have a better chin, and it looked to be a matter of time until he got the knockout as he pummeled Kirkland to the canvas. But Kirkland was being trained like an animal by Ann Wolfe, and she had conditioned him to be able to absorb tremendous punishment. She had also trained him to dish out tremendous punishment in return. Kirkland was able to take everything Angulo gave him, and his non-stop aggression eventually made Angulo wilt. This was a truly inspirational performance. Kirkland shouldn't have been able to win this fight, but his determination and heart made all the difference.
Still not getting connected to any of the punches that Randy was throwing.
Nunn, as he is getting it.
Michael Nunn was a very talented and fast southpaw. He had incredible dimensions and very quick hands in combination. Notice how relaxed he is here while the punches are coming at him.
But Nunn seems unfazed.
I thought Nunn also had underrated power.
He comes back. That's not a good way to fight.
None if you throw those fast combinations which he's known and respected for to get the respect of Randall Yonker.
Roundhouse left hooks being thrown by Nunn.
Look at those dabs and combinations, Michael Young. Go ahead, Nunn. This fight looks like maybe stopped at any moment.
Nunn all
Look at
over
this fight is
Yonker.
going to be stopped. This fight is going to be stopped.
What a barrage.
6, 7.
That's a hard barrage. I don't think he'll get up. He won't get up.
It's all over.
All over.
All right.
Next to Roy Jones and Sugar Ray Leonard, I think he was probably the most naturally talented middleweight I've ever seen.
As you see right now, he's putting those combinations together. Similar to the one Sugar Ray Robinson put together when he fought Randy Turpin from England in Madison Square Garden. Unbelievable. It's constantly punching to the body punching. And I think it was body punches that really put the punishment in as well. But that right uppercut did the number. God, I ain't never seen a combination thrown like that in years.
Quite an accumulation of punches. Another look at the barrage from overhead. You just had to wonder how much punishment Yonker could withstand over the long haul. He's taken so much.
The only thing good out of this fight, both fighters didn't lose anything. This guy, Randall, he's going to be around, and he has a lot of good fights in him. And this looks great for Michael Nunn because he looks like he's back in the shot for the middleweight championship of the world.
The right hand of Tim Witherspoon was a very dangerous heavyweight punch. Witherspoon threw a looping right hand, but he was usually getting full power behind the shot.
Making them rather entertaining.
Well, Huey, the awareness of the people here as boxing fans was really something else. And Greg Gurrell, delayed reaction, looking for a soft place to fall down, and that eye is really bad. Don't even bother counting, ref. I would stop it right now. There's no reason for this to go on.
I think Gurrell was seriously hurt here. Gurrell was a tough guy who took bombs from Lennox Lewis, but that right hand from Witherspoon took everything out of him. Witherspoon lacked consistency in his career, but when he was at his best, he was a top contender and would have given anybody some problems.
And it really opened up the cut, and Gurrell was just a kind of a delayed reaction. Turned his bag, the referee stepped in, and Gurrell did not get back up. And by about a minute into that third round.
The son of the great Joe Frazier used a lot of his dad's trademark moves. Notice the head movement. He got caught with a left hook at the end of a combination by Vinny, and Vinny knew that he was seriously hurt. Just like his dad, young Joe doesn't clinch when hurt, and he's a sitting duck for punches.
Might be instrumental as well. Keith Garner, the man doing the scoring here.
Gary Lockett is known as a very good boxing trainer in the UK. He had some very exciting fights during his boxing career.
Looked good at the end of the fight. He was suddenly paying, growing in confidence. And he's just got to keep the pressure on and try and catch Lockett with one of these big punches.
Oh, he's caught him there on the way in. Down for the second time. Payne.
But Payne launched himself in, but walked right onto one as he did that, and he was hurt there.
Breathing very heavily, and it stopped. Stopped in the fourth round. Payne on very unsteady legs.
I think this counter hook is probably my favorite punch from his career.
Face first. And that was a nice, crisp, little left hook.
The Lockett rocket, as he calls it.
I just think it's beautiful to watch. He made it look so effortless.
There, that was a nice punch. He just waited for Payne to make that jump forward.
Stages in this fight where Jelly's going to try and push hard, and can Pithy just get through it? Can he keep on top here?
Doing pretty well in this round so far. Pithy's picked it up again. Nice uppercut and right hand and body shot. Excellent combinations, and down he goes. It was a body shot again. Pithy's been vulnerable to those in the past, and he's down in the sixth round. Oh dear, is it all draining away from Dean Pithy here?
At 41 years of age, I thought, Jelty put on a masterclass of body punching to beat hometown favorite Dean Pithy.
2 knockdowns in the round.
4, 5, 6.
And he's got his arms aloft. Is he going to get up, Pithy? He's not going to make it. He's knocked out by the body punches in the 6th round. And Pithy, having dominated the first 4, it's all gone away from him in the 6th. And Afi Jelty did that very, very impressively in the end.
Jelty was a seasoned operator and knew how to set up that left hook to the body.
You know, he knows the shots to go though with Pithy. Pithy stopped with body shots before, and Jelty finds a good variety, head and body. So
Jelty was one of my favorite fighters. I love those old road warriors that have a have, glove, will, travel mentality. He would go on to fight for 4 more years and win the European title after this fight.
Yes, he's just finding the spot again. It's that left hook round the elbow and right in there in the side of the stomach. Such a painful shot.
Pithy needed several minutes to recover.
And then in the 6th, took him out of there with 2 body punches, down twice. He's still doubled up with pain, Dean Pithy. He was never going to beat that count, was he?
No, he wasn't. He was never going to stand a chance of it. It was really hard punches. It took everything out of him. He's still hurting even now.
And a static head of Cuban, who's in trouble. Oh, right hand! What about that? There's a statement from Nigel inside the opening 30 seconds.
Olympic gold medalist Chunky was lethal on the inside.
But eyes still clear, still looking like...
Oh, right hands! And Victor Lachlan this time does step in.
I think opponents just can't handle the inside game of Chunky and was way outclassed.
On Cuban, I think Victor Lachlan already was thinking maybe this is not going to go on much longer. And as he was knocked to the side there, he decided enough is enough. Cuban hadn't been allowed to come back with anything of his own. And look at De Gale just setting him up with the left hand and bombing home.
Good shots these from Betts. Left hand in the spot.
Jim Betts was an exciting British fighter. He dropped Cassidy with a body shot there. You can see that Cassidy isn't up to par defensively here.
Didn't look like he really wanted to carry on there. He caught again by Betts. He's down for the 2nd time. Ross Cassidy. Close look. And down for the 3rd time by Jim Betts. The towel comes in.
Stepped right in with a punch. Bang. Got his head and shoulders dipped. Bang. Punch.
Only the 3rd knockout win for Jim Betts, but probably his best to date.
When you catch an opponent who is coming towards the punch, it increases the impact of the punch. Cassidy was coming